Have you ever tried to focus on something important? Studying, working, reading, only to realize that your mind keeps drifting? And even when you notice that you're distracted, even when you tell yourself, I need to focus again, you still can't quite return to it. You are aware of the distraction, but awareness alone doesn't seem to bring focus back. Many people try techniques, timers, silence, discipline, willpower, yet the problem persists. So the question isn't simply, why am I distracted? The deeper question is, why is returning to focus so difficult, even when I know I've lost it? What if distraction isn't a failure? What if distraction is not the opposite of focus, but part of how the mind actually works? Perhaps the issue isn't that we lack control, but that we misunderstand the structure we are moving within. To explain what I mean, I want to introduce a concept. I call it the Myriad Maze Tower of the mind. The central idea is simple. The mind is not something you control. It is something you navigate. Thinking is not command, thinking is movement. Imagine the mind as a tower. This tower contains everything you have learned, everything you have experienced, everything you remember and know. It is not a hierarchy of better or worse thoughts. It is a structure of accumulated knowledge. The tower represents the totality of the mind. Inside this tower are many floors. And every floor is a maze. Each maze represents a body of knowledge, a set of memories, a skill, or a lived experience. Mazes have paths, they have dead ends. They have loops. You do not retrieve knowledge instantly. You find your way to it. Here is the crucial part. You are almost never inside just one maze. When you think, work, speak, or act, multiple mazes converge. Memory, habit, emotion, logic, experience, they merge into a larger, more complex maze. This is why thinking feels overwhelming. Not because you lack discipline, but because you begin inside complexity. Within this merged maze, there is something moving. That is you. Your consciousness is the traverser of the maze. You are not the maze, you are not the tower. You are the one navigating what already exists. And the maze does not remain fixed. As you live, it expands. New information reshapes old paths. New experiences alter familiar routes. Life does not pause while you think. This is why thinking does not become simpler over time. It becomes more complex. Inside the maze, there is also fog. The fog represents distraction, emotional residue, intrusive thoughts, and mental fatigue. But the fog does more than obscure paths. It displaces you. When the fog thickens, you don't just lose sight of where you were going. You may find yourself inside an entirely different maze. You sit down to study, and suddenly you are replaying a conversation, worrying about something unrelated, or drifting into memory or imagination. You didn't choose a new focus. Your consciousness was displaced. The fog does not trap you permanently, but it relocates you without notice. And until you recognize that shift, returning to focus feels impossible. You may notice that you are distracted and still not know where you are. Awareness tells you that you've wandered. Orientation tells you how to return. This is why many focus techniques fail. They teach awareness, but not navigation. Focus is not forcing the mind to obey. Focus is reorienting consciousness within the maze. You cannot dominate the structure. You can only choose where to stand. And when the fog moves you elsewhere, focus is the act of returning, again and again. Being present does not mean emptying the mind. It means knowing which maze you are in right now. Presence is awareness of location, not silence. So when focus fails, it is not because the mind is broken or undisciplined. It is because consciousness has been moved to a different maze. Focus, then, is not force. It is the practice of recognizing where you are and choosing, deliberately, to return. Sometimes that return begins with nothing more than a moment of awareness, and a simple gesture that marks intention. The mind is not a machine to be mastered. It is a tower of ever-expanding mazes. You do not conquer it, you traverse it. And learning to focus is learning how to find your way back. So the next time you find yourself trapped by the fog or taken to a different maze, Reorient yourself and take yourself back to the place you once were before you were lost by the fog.